Welcome to today's lesson, and I'm going to talk about the book of Matthew, chapter 7, 24. My title is The Marriage That Withstands. That's what we are going to talk about today. It's about the family. The families that God has created. He has created us with a reason. He has given us an opportunity to serve Him through a family. And before I continue, I read from the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 24. And here I read, "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash." Blessed is the name of the Lord. Amen. As I talk about the family, I cannot escape the foundation. The foundations that were laid by God Himself. From the book of Genesis, He says, "And men shall leave the father and the mother so that they can be joined together." It's very rare to hear people talk about this crucial thing that is family. And without a family, there is no church. Without a family, there is no nation. Without a family, there is no generation. That's why it is so essential to understand the principles of having a family that withstands the storms. And the book of Matthew has already directed us on how to build the foundation of our lives, the foundation of our education, the foundation of everything that we begin, especially the foundation of this family we are going to talk about today. And I'll ask you a question. Are you the person you would like to associate with? In your heart, you answer this question. Putting a reflection on a mirror, you look not at others, you are looking at yourself. Do you have the characters of the person you would like to associate with? Or the people you want to change, to transform? Do you want them to look like you? Answer yourself that question. Are you the person you would like? I don't want to put it, you would like to marry, because it is not, you are one. But it is, are you the person you would like to associate with? Kind of a person that you are. Would you like to associate with that person? Look at your abilities. Look at your decision making. Look at your characteristics. Ask yourself, this is the person I would like to associate with. If not so, I'm ready to change. If it is so, let me change others to be like me. Praise the Lord. Today I'll talk much about building marriage that lasts. Marriage that withstands the storm. Because we have heard from the book of Matthew, chapter 7, that this foolish man built the house on the sand. And when storm came, actually the storm will come. It's not that it is not a warrant. It is warranted that the storms will come. But will your house withstand this storm? When the rain falls down, when the rain comes, when the waters flow, will your house stand? Will it be with the foundation that will make it stand? I see when people are building the houses, they take care much. They take all their resources on the foundation. It's better they lay a strong foundation. When they are unable to go up, they remain there and wait. Because if you don't put the foundation that is strong, when you go up, as you go to the roof, it will come down crashing. It will fall, and your work will be invalid. What do we do now in the family? Family is an institution of God. God Himself began a family in the Garden of Eden. In the book of Genesis, we see chapter 2, that He says, "And men shall leave the father and mother because of this. Because of what I've created. I've created Adam and Eve. And everything that was there, it was good. It gives them a command. Go and be fruitful. Go and bring forth. Go and do the work that I've given you. That you fill the earth. You subdue. You take care of what I've created. This is the work I've given you. That means there is a purpose that God had with our family. And when something loses purpose, when people doesn't understand the purpose of something, they'll mishandle it. They'll not understand. They'll not take care of it. So this time and this generation, we are losing the focus. We are missing the point, the purpose of the family. And we need to go back to the one who began the family and ask, what is the purpose of the family? Why did God create Adam and Eve and not Eve and Eve and Adam and Adam? Why did God do this? Because animals were good, trees were good, vegetation were good. But he said, I'll create man in my own image. In his image he created man and a woman. And he gave them power and authority over everything that he had created. So that we can have that work. And at the end of it, we are going to be asked. Our account will be before the Lord. What did you do with what I gave you? I gave you the resources. My creation, you did not create anything. God has created. He put them in the Eden, where he had created everything. If they were not to create, they were just to subdue, to take care, to be fruitful. Use whatever I've given you, so that I can see what you have done. Go and fill the earth. So what are we fighting here? In this generation, as we have lost focus on the family, we are now focused on other things. We are focused on the creation of God. We are not focused on the purpose of God that he has given unto us. Now, what do we fight in our family? There is a fighting. We need to fight fears. Because I asked myself, what happens what is the biggest fear in your heart about marriage? What if your biggest fear about marriage came true? Because if you put foundation, you put a foundation that has no strength, the foundation that is not laid on God, you will get married. You get married with some conditions. If this one happens, if this and this happens, I'll be out. This is a no reverse gear family. Family, it has no reverse gear. And every family can be effective. If it is handled well, if it is handled with care, if people get into marriage with the purpose in their mind. If I know myself and you know yourself, we get into the purpose of God. We'll know what we need to do. Because if you get to the marriage and you don't know why you are there, both of you are going to mishandle the other person. What do we now have to do? Take a step and read the purpose of God. This is the reason why I hear people say, if this doesn't happen, if this one happens, so what will happen? To succeed in marriage, then we must succeed in mentally managing loss because of the expectations that we get into marriage with. Assuming you are expecting so great things and much from the other person, but you are contributing zero, you are contributing nothing. You need to manage loss. You need to understand that you'll manage loss because you have expectations. You get to marriage without expectations. Don't put any expectation, but say, I'm going to work. I'm getting to the purpose of God. And this is learn to turn disappointment into determination, helplessness into hope, frustration into faith. These are just a few ones that I want to use before I get deep. The world has lost the purpose of marriage without understanding the purpose. That's what I've said. The purpose of anything you'll mishandle. Intention of God for marriage in the book of Genesis chapter 2. We have seen it was that God wanted people to be fruitful. This one is found in the book of Malachi, where God says, what do I want from you? Godly offspring. God is just interested with your offspring. Devil is also interested with your offsprings. That's why he comes and he enters in the family. He's not interested with you too. He's interested with your 4, 5, 6, and 2, your siblings, so that they cannot serve, so that they cannot do the work of God, so they cannot fulfill the purpose of God. The moment you fail to the assignment, who are you? How will you tell God now you have done in the family? Because the assignment is that God wants godly siblings. He wants the offsprings that are godly. The children who will serve God. It is a reflection. The family is a reflection of God's rational nature in the book of Malachi 2. You ask why God doesn't hear you. You ask why God doesn't bless you. He blesses others, and He's not blessing you. Why? It's because you have been so unfaithful to your wife of your youth. That's what He says. If you have time, you read the Malachi chapter 2, verse 14. If you are unfaithful, don't think God will be pleased with you. If you enter into sin, you will not fulfill the purpose of God. You need to take care of yourself. Through your wife, the partner, you now call God unfaithful. You know, when you enter into marriage, you are showing the world that God has created, God has purposed to bless me. And all of a sudden, you are unfaithful to your wife. You go to the second and third. What are you showing the world? That God is unfaithful. That God doesn't make covenant. You know there is a covenant between you and your wife. When you break that covenant, what are you showing the world as the husband and wife? The man who hates and divorces his wife says to the Lord, God of Israel does violence to one he should protect. Because your wife, you should protect your wife. Also, you protect the husband. Because you are two there to complement one another. So when you break that covenant, what are you telling the world? You are telling the world, God is unfaithful. He betrays the one he loves. Marriage is intended as a faithful covenant, commitment, a lifetime. It's not a short term as people are putting it today, that it's a contract. Family is not a contract. It has no reverse gear. That's how I began saying that once you get into it, you have to look on the way it will work. Especially the youth, those who are about to get married. Because when you are born, you will grow. You will get married. You will reach a time, you will have children, and your children. And again, you will go to where you came from. That is heaven. You will be accountable. Take care of the person you choose. Ask, is this the person I want to reflect my children? I want my children to look like this. I want this person to be the mother of my children. I want this person to be the father of my children. So that when you get in, you will have no reverse gear to say, this is not the person I wanted. Because you'll be wrong. It is your choice. You choose. You have been given that liberation to choose. God does not choose for you. Even the time you pray and fast, there is no time God will bring you that this is the person. Though He leads you, He has already blessed you so that you can make choice. If you make a choice and God does for you a choice, you will tell God, you will blame God. You see God, just the way Adam said, the woman you gave me, it was because of choice of God. The woman you gave me, this is the woman you gave me, she has made me sin. Now, God has given us that opportunity to choose for ourselves who to marry and who to stay with. So marriage, those are the purposes. If you are writing down, you should be very careful when you are writing down because they'll help you. They'll act as a guidance for you. Procreation. Family is for procreation. As I've said, you'll bear children, you'll raise them, and they shall be godly children. And when they are godly children, He is pleased with you. For intimacy and for relationship, when you have companion, when you have somebody, and God saying to Adam, it is not good for a man to be alone. When he looked at the man, he was doing nothing. He was bored. Every animal had a partner. And He said, it's not good for man to be alone. I'll create for him a partner, somebody of reflection, somebody who will make him happy. And we see Adam, when he saw Eve, he said, surely this is the flesh of my flesh. And he was so happy with this woman. So when a young man or a young woman finds the partner, they are able to complement each other. They live in that relationship to share that joy that God intended for them. So in the book of Malachi, it is a place that's why I dwell so much. Because I understand why most of the people are not blessed. I understand sometimes, blessing and success is not all that you have. It's not about money. It is about the peace that you have deep in your heart. It is that peace that you share with your children. Imagine you have no peace in your heart. And you have greater house and bigger house and cars. Where will you be sleeping? You sleep in the house or you sleep in the car. You spend most of your time, like we say, when you come from the job from 6 to 6 in the morning, you are with your family. It means that you have much time with your family more than you are there outside. So if you make your house a conducive place for you, you will have that peace. You will have that joy. You will be able to build that nest. Because people look at it as success, it is what I have. No, it is what is in you. I see even poor people, those who raise their children very well, and they are poor. But you find because they have that peace, their children are so great. They are successful because it is from inside of them. You can have so much, and that much takes you out of your family and away from your children. So, that family, God has a purpose for it. It is for procreation. And from that procreation, you want that godly children from you. Children who serve God. Children who fears God. Then God you fear. That's why you see most of the time people are building families, but it is not built on God. So next thing you hear, when the storm comes, because I give you a promise that the storm will come. Surely storm will come. It might be a storm of finance. Maybe you followed finances. Maybe somebody was very rich and you followed. It's taken away. Because of that reason, you just disappear. You run away. Some follow the face or physical appearance of a person. Maybe something, let's say it happens, something happens. In nature, something happens. And that face is no more. Will you run away from that person? Will you escape from your children? No. Never get into that intimacy, into relationship with a reason. That's what we began saying. That it's not, you just need to know the purpose of God for family. So it is for intimacy, as we have said. And God again created marriage for spiritual sanitation. It is for spiritual formation, where you share connectedness. You are connected to God. You forgive each other. You teach the world through what you are sharing. Prayer. Together and invite heaven in your home. When we pray together at home. When we have peace at home. This is the reflection of God in us. And we take that peace in the house of the Lord. That means we'll have families in the church that have peace. It is very easy for the altar now to do the work. But if we have fragmented the families that are not together, families that are facing trouble, they have no peace. And the pastor is having like 10 families or 100 families, and they are all in trouble. He will also face trouble. But if he finds peace in your family, and the other one, we will have that easy time. We will have that community of believers that the world admires, and they shall say, surely it works. I hear these days, young people say it doesn't work. That's the voice from the devil. It works. Whatever God has created shall work. Whether storms come, or rain comes, or whatever comes, we'll be able to stand. So, you need to look at yourself. Self. That's what makes people develop, increase, and grow in life of family. It is a personal thing. When I look at myself, the way I began with the question that, are you the person you would like to relate with? Are you the reflection of a person you want the other person to become? This is the self thing. When you look at yourself, do you do to others, as the book of Matthew again says in the book of Matthew chapter 7 verse 12, do to others as you would like. I'm not going to read, but if you have time, read the book of Matthew chapter 7. It says, would you do to others whatever you want to be done to you? If you beat somebody, you like it. So do to others what you would like to be done to you. So when you hold it like it is me who is the driver of this family, I am a mother, I am a father, I want to drive this car towards this direction, it will go. So he who is not skilled in the knowledge of himself, he will not be able to escape the temptation. But if you are able, if you are skilled, if you have that knowledge that we have run the purpose of the family before God, you will be able to withstand this storm. When the storm comes, In fact, you will not count how many times. Like I was reading the book of Matthew. How many times should you forgive? In the family, we have no total. I cannot tell you you'll forgive 3 times or 4. You will burn out. You need to forgive without counting. This person is a self person. This person is an individual. We say they have their own triangle. They have their own circle. That triangle is where you are influenced by 3 things. What produces that behavior you see? There is a triangle in that person. There is that emotion, the feelings that makes you behave the way you behave. So we don't deal with that behavior. You deal with the person inside. So what brings forgiveness in our families that make us sustain the family? There's one thing that we need to understand, awareness. We have said it is all about me. It's about me. It's not about you. When you do wrong, it is you. But for me, how will I respond? We say take 15 minutes before you give a feedback to somebody who has wronged you. That's why when you are Christian, you are not able to kill. If you take 15 minutes, you breathe in and out. 15 minutes, you not retort, you not speak wrongly, you not give a bad feedback because you are able to think of what you are speaking. So when you have that self-awareness, you know who you are. You know what triggers you. You know I don't like this. I told you to count what you don't like and what you like. When you know what you like, what you don't like, and somebody is now he is stepping over your boundaries, you take 15 minutes before you give a feedback. You walk around without doing anything, and you will be able to cool down so that you can give a feedback. We live with the people. You know, when you get married, you don't get married to somebody you know, or your sister or your brother. You are married to somebody who is from very far community, from another nation, and this person, you have to cope with this person. It works. I tell you, it works. If you hold the principles of family, if you know the work of God in the family, you will be able to overcome every storm. If it is for forgiveness, if it is anything, you will be able. Changing your attitude towards other people. You know, communication is so much. As we go on with this teaching, I'll hold on the communication and leadership in the future. I'll talk about it. Communication, the way we communicate to others, the way we give feedback, the way we respond to others, it matters a lot. So imagine, you are not aware of your communication skills yourself. You are not empathetic. When you speak, you don't care what the other person will feel. So you don't have any feeling about somebody else. When you are empathetic, you put yourself to the other person's shoe. You understand, what will this person feel if I speak like this? If I give this feedback, how will it affect the community? How will it affect the generation? How will it affect the church? So as you take those 15 minutes, you are able to empathize with the other person so that you don't give just a weird answer to anything. You take 15 minutes to think. So we can adjust our expectations, as we said. When we get to marriage, sometimes we have expectations. When you hear this word, adjust the expectations. Things do change. Life do change. There are a lot of things that can change. So avoid those expectations and put expectations to yourself. What can I do? How can I be a better person? How can I do these things to be good? How can I do so that I can please the other person? So you are able to stay with the other person whom you did not know. What is the current? And now the situation where this person is. You know, you understand people you stay with because sometimes, because of their background, how we grew up, their past experiences. Maybe some people had no parents. I'm doing a research on parental, the way parents affect. There is an impact that is put on children mentally when they are growing up and their parents have separated. In fact, if you stay with the children, like those who are in children's home, as I'm working with them sometime, I see those children are going through painful life. A child who has never seen the father, a child who has never seen the mother, what personality, what characters will that child carry? What do you expect from that child? Actually, this child is just kicking around the bush to understand his life, to get the identity, to know who this person is. He'll just learn socially to understand who he is. But if you are married, you look at the other person's past experience. That is one thing. You understand this person maybe did not see the father or mother. This person maybe did not experience love. This person did not experience what I experienced. So I'm in a better position to help this person to endure. Because we are going to one journey. This journey, we have one goal: to raise our children and to meet our Father who is in heaven, to give us an account and to read our account that will qualify us to go to where we should go. So what do? I help this person. The way he is sleeping, the way he is walking, I will walk with him throughout this journey. We call it a journey in counseling. You take a journey with that person, and this journey is a lifetime journey. It's not a change of today or tomorrow. It will take you life. So when you understand the other person, you are able to empathize with the other person. I was reading The 7 Habits of Effective Families, and I realized the first thing this person is talking about, it is me being the agent of change. So I'm not talking out of emptiness. There are some bases. When you become the agent of change, you become like a yeast. When you put a yeast in your dough, it changes everything, even the figure and the shape. And the size, it increases. Because those small particles, they have that effect to change the way that dough looks like. Now, we can be the agent of change. We can change our generation. We can change our families. We can change our churches. We should not sit down and do nothing. We can try and look for something that can bring change to our people, to our families, to our children. Because our children will grow towards their family as they see us relate. So, we need to encourage one another. The problem with the judging, you should not judge people and labeling them. When you label somebody, you will pull everything around you so that you confirm what you said is true. And that one I've seen in my life. If you put something like, you know, my child is very lazy. Even if that child tries very hard to do good and to be active, you will still look for a small thing that proves your point that this person is lazy. So may we look for resources from other people. There is something good that person does. Amplify that thing, magnify that thing, make it visible so that you don't see the negative. You increase the positive, and this person will be changed. One thing I know, no one can change anybody, but through your personality, through your character, through your conduct, this person can be transformed. That's why Jesus from heaven, he saw the world was perishing, and God was punishing through water and everything, but people could not change. And he saw it was because of compassion that these people will be changed. Jesus came and walked among us. He healed. He fed people so that they could hear. And they were able to listen. And they said, if this man is righteous, why is he now letting his life be tortured and be put on the cross? And through that compassion, we were able to be saved. It was because of love. Look at the love of Christ. You can change your people. You can change your partner. You can change your generation. Be the agent of change. Be blessed as we think about it. So, as I summarize, we have talked about building the marriage that withstands the storm. As I have told you, the storm shall come. It might be of anything I don't mention because I know there are so many things that are storms in marriage. It begins with knowing the purpose of marriage. That's how you'll overcome. The foundation of that marriage, it will depend with your knowledge and understanding. So may you venture, may you search and understand what are the purposes of marriage. Why am I there? People say I'm raising children only. No, it's not about raising children. It is an assignment that is lifetime. So second one, in summary, no one can change the other person without awareness of being first an agent of change. You cannot change the other person if you are not willing to be a teacher, to be a leader, to lead through the character you want that person to acquire. Because when you have that leadership skill to lead to what you know, this person will not be able to change. So God wants godly offspring. Go with that one at home. God wants godly offspring. The child you are holding, the child who is sitting next to you, the child you can see in your family, that's what God is really keen on. is looking at that child, and that child should look like Jesus. That child you see should carry the characteristics of Jesus. Just know that if you throw an insult or abandon once your child, you're insulting Jesus. You are telling God your work is invalid. Your work has no purpose in the family. So from today, instill a good character in your child. Be a leader to your family. Be a leader to your children, especially mamas and mothers of the children. When we are taking care of the little child, you see as if the child is taking too long. When they are like 2 kgs when they are born, they turn to 4, 5, 6, and the child is growing. All of a sudden, you have the same height or they are taller than you. What do you think? There is a purpose in this child. Your work was just an assignment to grow this child, to put something in this child, in child's mind, so that this person can reflect the image of God. Don't let the devil possess your children. Don't give your family to the devil. He is really yearning to have them. And he will tell them, he will tell God, you see, there is nothing you have done in the family. We want to shame the devil. He was ashamed in heaven. And still he is in shame because we are following Jesus. May you be blessed as you meditate upon the offspring that God is desiring in you. May you be blessed.